Alright, so before we get into the video, we're going to be talking about the Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige post-fight review. The Korean Zombie dominates Dan Ige by a unanimous decision and improves to 17 wins with 6 losses. My thoughts on it, the Korean Zombie, he's good. He definitely did better than I thought he was going to do. He did a lot more grappling than I thought. I wasn't really paying attention to the fight. Again, I was more paying attention to the boxing. But when I was glancing at it, it would look like it was boring. It just looked like it was completely just one-sided. The Korean Zombie was just just kind of like laying on him the whole fight, trying to look for a submission, but it was just being very dominant on the ground and just, on the feet, he did better than he did better than I thought he was going to do. Actually, I picked Dan Ige to win by a wide unanimous decision. I was wrong, and, the people who picked the Korean Zombie to win, shout out to you. But man, Dan Ige, he needs to work on a lot of stuff. Definitely work on his grappling. I thought I kind of overhyped his grappling. It's just, oh man, dude, I kind of looked dumb picking Dan Ige in that fight. But man, dude, congratulations to the Korean Zombie for defeating Dan Ige when I actually picked Dan Ige to win. Do I think he's ready for like a shot at the title or, me personally, no. I think he needs to work on a lot of stuff. I think he needs to fight more opponents like Max Holloway or Calvin Kattar, Yair Rodriguez, one of those kind of guys, because he did have a dominant performance against him, but again, it was very boring. When I looked at it, it kind of looked like a boring fight, but again, congratulations to the Korean Zombie. So yeah, but on to the video. Hey, what's up, y'all? Preston from Fight Media 360 here. So this is a quick preview and prediction for Carlos Adames versus Alexis Salazar. So before we get into all this, if you guys don't know, this fight takes place on the undercard of Gervonta Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios. This is actually the replacement fight for Julian J. Rock Williams versus Brian Mendoza. So just in case if you guys don't know. So now is also I really like Carlos Adames, very good fighter. My opinion, I thought he beat Patrick Teixeira. I thought he edged it. I thought he was winning a lot of the early rounds and most of the mid rounds. I felt like it was a very close fight between him and Patrick Teixeira, but I thought that Carlos Adames did enough to win. I thought he was throwing the harder shots than Teixeira. Yes, he got dropped in that fight, but other than that, he was mainly controlling the fight. A lot of the later rounds, yes, a lot of the later rounds was Patrick Teixeira, but I thought that Carlos Adames did enough to win. I thought he won the 12th round in that fight, and yeah, very close fight though. But anyways, let's talk about their stats, and then the odds, and then what they need to do to win, and then my final prediction. So let's start off with Carlos Adames. So Carlos Adames comes into the fight with a record of 19 wins, 1 loss, 0 draws, 15 wins coming by way of knockout. He stands at a height of 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. His most known fights are obviously Patrick Teixeira and Patrick Day. Rest in peace. But yeah. So now let's talk about Alexis Salazar. So Alexis Salazar comes into the fight with a record of 23 wins, 3 losses, 0 draws, 9 wins coming by way of knockout. He stands at a height of 5'11", and his reach is unknown. And yeah. Carlos Adames is listed as a negative 2K favorite over Alexis Salazar. So yeah. So now we got that out the way. Now let's talk about what they need to do to win, and then my final prediction. So first, I want to talk about, Alex Salazar. I never heard of Alexis Salazar. I never heard of Alexis Salazar in my life. Saw some highlights. He's okay. Dude got no power. He's all right. Has a lot of heart. He is big. But I don't know. It's gonna be, kind of interesting. But we all know who's gonna win here. But Alexis Salazar does throw a lot of punches, so I just want to tell you that. So let's talk. So now let's start off with Carlos Adames, the very, very big favorite. So what Carlos Adames needs to do is, I would really like him to box and be the harder puncher, because the one with the heavier hands is Carlos Adames, and Carlos Adames is a very good boxer, but this time I would really like to see Carlos Adames let his hands go more. Also, definitely work on his cardio. Carlos Adames's cardio isn't necessarily the best cardio, but he does carry a lot of power, so he gets a lot of people out of there quick. But that's why he also struggled against Patrick Teixeira, and because he was hitting Patrick Teixeira a lot. Teixeira's face was all busted up, but it was like he started fading away in a little bit of the mid rounds. Yes, I thought he won most of the mid rounds, but then he was just really gassed in the later rounds. But that happened after he got dropped, and I just felt like after he got dropped, he wasn't really fighting the same. I felt like it was more of he got tired. I mean, he could have got, cautious of getting hit by Patrick Teixeira, but that's what he needs to do is to box and throw more punches, and then again be the harder puncher, get the judges' attention, because really, even though Salazar has 3 losses, he never been stopped or knocked out. But a lot of his losses came from people that have 6 knockouts out of 30 wins and stuff like that. The only guy he lost to that had a lot of power. What's his name again? I'm trying to look. You guys probably don't know who the hell that guy is, but Christian Alan Gomez Duran. That was his only loss. That guy that actually had power. And the guy right now, he has 20 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 18 wins coming by way of knockout. So the guy that Salazar lost to has power. So, he probably does have a good chin. I'm not super hyped of Carlos Adames probably knocking him out. Don't expect Carlos Adames to knock him out. Just don't expect that to happen, because on the other hand, Alexis is bigger than Carlos Adames, because Carlos Adames is a super welterweight and Alexis Salazar is a super middleweight, so he is a lot bigger than Carlos Adames. So just don't expect that Carlos Adames is about to go in and just knock him out easily. I do think it's gonna take some time. I do think you're gonna see Carlos Adames box a little more. I do see you're not really gonna. I feel like people aren't really gonna be that impressed of Carlos Adames in this performance. Like I'm just telling you guys, like I told you so. But anyways, that's what Carlos Adames really needs to do, is to pretty much box Salazar and be the harder puncher, and I would really like to see him let go of his hands more. So yeah, so that's what Carlos Adames needs to do to win. So now Alexis Salazar. So what Salazar needs to do is definitely let his hands go in this fight, because he does throw a lot of punches. Not saying he has power, but he does throw a lot of punches. Not a fan of his style necessarily, but he does throw a lot of punches. So that's what he definitely needs to do against Carlos Adames. But don't get caught a whole lot by Carlos Adames by big shots. Even though Alexis Salazar, again, hasn't been stopped and is obviously the bigger fighter, he definitely can get hurt against Carlos Adames, because Carlos Adames does carry a lot of power. So he definitely needs to be careful of getting caught by Carlos Adames. Other than that, he needs to throw a lot of punches against him. Kind of like what Luis Arias did to Jarrett Hurd. He exposed the hell out of him. Sorry. He exposed the hell out of him. But that's what he needs to do, is kind of like pressure Carlos Adames. Make sure you don't get hit too much, because I feel like the judges are definitely going to be on Carlos Adames' side on this, because, again, Carlos Adames was coming off a loss against Patrick Teixeira, and I feel like they want to give Carlos Adames a lot of credit in this fight, and they really want him to win. So he really needs to make it a complete shutout, just like what Luis Arias did against Jarrett Hurd. I know it was a split decision, but it was a bullcrap split decision. We all know that it wasn't a split decision. Luis Arias almost like freaking won every single round. The rounds I really only gave the Arias in that fight, I mean, the only rounds I really gave I only gave like 2 rounds that whole fight to Hurd. Whoever gave that fight to Hurd, by the way, needs to be fired. But anyways, that's what he needs to do, is throw a lot of punches. Really be a good aggressor in this fight, but then try not to get hit a whole lot by Carlos Adames, but just really pressure fight Carlos Adames, because the thing is with pressure fighting, if you're a bigger fighter and a taller fighter than a fighter, even though they're both the same height, it's really hard for the other fighter to kind of like fight back, because you're really close up, and it's very hard for people who like fighters to hit in the inside, especially with Carlos Adames. Carlos Adames likes to kind of like fight kind of in the mid-range, so he needs to cut off, like, so he needs to kind of like cut off the ring and fight close up to Carlos Adames, and then really just make this fight a shutout, because that's really the only chance how Alexis Salazar can win. So yeah. So my final prediction for this fight, I mean, I'm gonna go with Carlos Adames by either a TKO in the later rounds or a very wide unanimous decision. Don't be surprised if you guys see a majority decision, but I'm more confident on a unanimous decision or a TKO in the later rounds. And the reason why I picked that is because, first of all, Carlos Adames is a very big favorite in this fight. Nobody even knows who the hell Alexis Salazar is. And they really wanted to give credit to Carlos Adames, because he is kind of like the household name in this fight. So yeah. So that's my final prediction. I got Carlos Adames by either a unanimous decision or a TKO in the later rounds. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm Preston from Fight Media 360, and thank y'all for watching this video.